guys, thanks for tuning in to my presentation on the importance of sport in the early years. So in my video today, we're going to look over my experience in sport, why sport is important for young children. I have a video to support what I'm saying here, then what sport can look like for children, and then also some resources for parents and guardians. So my experience in sport. So I've split this up into three areas: pain, gain, and reframe. So pain, I'll explain that first. So in my experience with sport, I've gone through a little bit of pain. So I've ruptured the main ligament in my knee, dislocated my shoulder 3 times, and then had reconstructions for both my knee and shoulder. Then various other sprains and a couple of breaks in fingers and toes and stuff playing hockey and footy. So that's been my experience, but those are the negatives. The positives, I've played some footy, played some hockey, and really enjoyed my time doing those things. The gain side of it, number 2, I think my whole life has revolved around sport, and that really stemmed from the foundations of playing sport when I was a kid. I really enjoyed sport and really enjoyed playing sport at school. I know that my teachers teaching me sport and my peers playing sport with me were a huge part of my childhood. So the reframe part, number 3, I want to talk about the fact that I think that sport is underrated in schools and it's not celebrated enough. I think that children really learn a lot about within their developmental phases from sport, and I think sport is an integral platform for children to leap off of into other parts of their development. So that's my side of that's my opinion on sport, and I think it's really important. So moving on from that, why is exercise important and why is sport important as well? So exercise is great for our minds and bodies, and that's really important for young children as well. Exercise strengthens our bones and provides a range of health benefits as well. Exercise helps to release positive chemicals in our brains. Studies have also found that exercise is integral to maintaining good health. Maintaining good health, and also exercising at a young age provides a platform for healthy physical activity habits for later in life as well. So we can form those important habits at a young age, and they should stay with us for life. Why is sport important as well? Sport incorporates all the benefits of exercise plus much, much more. Team sports aid children in learning to share and trust others. Participation in sports at schools reduce the risk of depression in children. Self-esteem and confidence levels, resilience and coping mechanisms all develop through playing sports and also from dealing with failure and success as well. And sport really provides an early sense of community for children. Now just heading into some EYLF links as well. So principle and practice. So learning comes in many shapes and sizes for children, and physical education is an important aspect of children's development. That's from page 9. And then outcome 1, a sense of belonging is developed when children feel accepted and loved through or by their peers. Physical activity is an important way to build a community. So that's from page 20. And then outcome 2, children connect and contribute to their world through physical and social play. Sport allows children to learn about fairness and team mentality. That's from page 28. All of these aren't direct quotes, they're just summaries from different pages, but they're all from the framework itself. The EYLF goes on to mention the notion that physical play, social development and gross motor skill development multiple times. Sport and physical activity or exercise are the perfect vehicle to develop these skills. Now just going to move on to a video that supports all the things that I've said.
The victory of the underdog over the favored team, the last-minute penalty shot that wins the tournament, the high-energy training montages. Many people love to glorify victory on the playing field, cheer for favorite teams, and play sports. But here's a question. Should we be so obsessed with sports? Is playing sports actually as good for us as we make it out to be, or just a fun and entertaining pastime? What does science have to say? First of all, It's well accepted that exercise is good for our bodies and minds, and that's definitely true. Exercising, especially when we're young, has all sorts of health benefits, like strengthening our bones, clearing out bad cholesterol from our arteries, and decreasing the risk of stroke, high blood pressure, and diabetes. Our brains also release a number of chemicals when we work out, including endorphins. These natural hormones, which control pain and pleasure responses in the central nervous system, can lead to feelings of euphoria, or what's often called a runner's high. Increased endorphins and consistent physical activity in general can sharpen your focus and improve your mood and memory. So does that mean we'd get just as much benefit going to the gym 5 days a week as we would joining a team and competing? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Because it turns out that if you can find a sport and a team you like, studies show that there are all sorts of benefits that go beyond the physical and mental benefits of exercise alone. Some of the most significant are psychological benefits, both in the short and long term. Some of those come from the communal experience of being on a team. For instance, learning to trust and depend on others, to accept help, to give help, and to work together towards a common goal. In addition, commitment to a team and doing something fun can also make it easier to establish a regular habit of exercise. School sport participation has also been shown to reduce the risk of suffering from depression for up to 4 years. Meanwhile, your self-esteem and confidence can get a big boost. There are a few reasons for that. One is found in training. Just by working and working at skills, especially with a good coach, you reinforce a growth mindset within yourself. That's when you say, even if I can't do something today, I can improve myself through practice and achieve it eventually. That mindset is useful in all walks of life. And then there's learning through failure, one of the most transformative long-term benefits of playing sports. The experience of coming to terms with defeat can build the resilience and self-awareness necessary to manage academic, social, and physical hurdles. So even if your team isn't winning all the time, or at all, there is a real benefit to your experience. Now, not everyone will enjoy every sport. Perhaps one team is too competitive, or not competitive enough. It can also take time to find the sport that plays to your strengths. That's completely okay, but if you spend some time looking, you'll be able to find a sport that fits your individual needs. And if you do, there are so many benefits. You'll be a part of a supportive community. You'll be building your confidence. You'll be exercising your body, and you'll be nurturing your mind. Not to mention having fun.
Awesome. So, yeah, so sport can look really different for children in a range of ages. So, children from 0 to 3 years old, so birth to three, will not so much be involved in sport, but more so will begin to walk, master, and then eventually master walking, begin to kick and throw, and then transfer these skills into more powerful kicking and throwing motions as they get older, closer to 3 years old. These are the development phases of fine and gross motor skills. So they're not going to be going and playing footy at this point, but the skills that they require to play footy will be developed on a very basic level at this age. So years 3 to 5 years old, children should be able to run, jump, throw, and will have developing balance skills as well. Rough and tumble play is a platform and basis for all of the sports at this age. This is where skills required for sports later in life will develop as well. So all the way from 0 to 5, they are kind of interchangeable. Some running, catching, and bike riding could occur between the ages of 3 to 5 as well. Years 6 to 9, or of age that is, children's running capability improves, so such as longer distances, development of lung capacity, they can run for longer periods of time. Aim and distance of throwing and kicking will improve at this age as well. And then sports such as basic informal games of soccer and footy, and individual sports such as swimming, running, dance, and racket sports are appropriate for this age. At this age, children's skills are developing, so modelling and guidance from adults will aid the child's development. And then onwards from the age of 9, the skills learnt from their younger years were the platform that skills were developed and built on. Children will continue to grow stronger and develop their skill sets. By this time, children would have usually found their preferred sports or sport and will continue to develop their skill in that context. So moving on, some resources for mainly parents and guardians. So which sports or games could my child play at school? Which sports or games could my child and I play at home? And how can my child get involved in sport in our community? So we'll move to the first one. So games and sports played at school. There's different running games in a link that I've found here. So some of the games involved are red light, green light, which is a bit of a running game. The teacher will shout out red light and they'll stop, and then green light and they'll have to chase each other. Band-aid tag is basically chasey as well. And then sharks and minnows, there's a few sharks that are selected and they have to chase the rest of the minnows until they eat them up. Different sports as well from Sports Australia, so soccer, baseball and basketball, and amongst many others. This site kind of unpacks how to set up for this game, or for each game, and how to play each game as well. So moving on, games and sports that can be played at home. There are so many things that parents can do with their kids at home to encourage fine motor and gross motor development and all the rest. Some of these games in here sound silly in this link, but as I said, all of them go towards developing those integral skills at this young age. So some of those games are touch and feel boxes or sensory boxes, balloon tennis, hitting it with your mum or your dad if you're a child, and also sock soccer, rolling up some socks into a ball and kicking it around the house or outside with your parent or your guardian. Moving on now to games and sports played in our community. I've found a few helpful links from Perth that are linked to the PCYC and also some different sport and rec places around Perth. Then also parents can go to their local sporting clubs, leisure or rec centres, local government websites, or also check in with friends from school to see what kind of sports they're involved in as well. So there's many different ways that sport is important for young children. As I said, I feel strongly that sport develops skills that we really need later in life. And as the video explained as well, it's not just skills that are specifically just for sport, but they will bleed into other parts of our life as well, including our academic life as well. So yeah, that's it. Here are my references, and thanks so much for listening. Thanks, guys.